Today I will first share an experience. So yesterday there was this brother who visited the center, and he told me that I'm preparing for civil services. So I asked him, how many hours do you study every day? So he said 6 hours. So I said that I don't think you can crack civil services with 6 hours of study. Because you see that whatever we want to become requires our time and thought. And it is basically thought energy that creates everything. But you cannot even think about something if you don't fix a time for it. And mind table and timetable are very related. So if something is not a part of your timetable, then you are not giving your thought to it. And until and unless you give something your thought, it cannot be nurtured. Now you see, sometimes even when we are giving our body to something, we are doing something, maybe studying, reading, but if we are not surrendering our mind to it, if we are not doing it mindfully, if our mind is wandering somewhere else, then even that study or whatever we are doing is not creating our future. So it's very important to ask ourselves in this context, how much time am I giving to Baba Shrimat? So Baba tells us that you have to remember me, and you have to churn on my knowledge, and you have to do seva. So how much time of our every day is allotted to doing what Baba asks us to do? And while doing it, how present are we? So are we sitting in yoga and not having yoga? Because sometimes you're sitting in yoga. I remember there was this one brother, and he became very, irregular with his murli. And I asked him, what is going wrong? So he said, I'm getting up at Amrit Vela every day. So I said, I know you're getting up, but are you even remembering Baba? So he said, no, it's been a long time. I get up and then I'm not in a very good frame of mind, and then I usually, half drowsy, half awake. I'm just sitting like that. And so I said, that's why, even while getting up at Amrit Vela, you are losing interest in Gyan. Because it depends on, you have to allot time. That's first. You have to get up at Amrit Vela. And then you have to surrender your mind to what you have allotted that time for. And if you don't do that, then whatever you want, the aspects of your life that you want to nurture, that you want that these aspects of my life should grow and I should get something out of these aspects, those aspects remain unattended. and they do not give you what they are supposed to give you. And just look at how much time we are wasting these days. And if time and thought are the biggest creative forces that we have, the biggest creative power that we have, then when you're wasting your time, now you see these days everybody says I don't have time, but then everybody is wasting time and everybody is on phone all day. So when you don't have time, how can you waste it? But everybody is doing this, and this one Mata, she was telling me, my husband's screen time on phone is 6 hours a day, and he is watching stuff on phone 6 hours a day, and his phone is not related to his work. So whatever he is doing on phone is not work related. Whatever work he has to do, he does on the laptop. So that is separate. But he is having 6 hours of screen time on the phone every day, and then he says, I don't have time to talk to my children and my wife. And he says that I don't have time for you people. And she says that he has time, but he is not realizing that he is just wasting it. And because of that, the children are feeling unattended, the children are feeling like they have no father. And she was saying this. So you see, just calculate how much time you're wasting, and just think about, in that time, what are you giving your attention to? So when you are just gossiping with somebody, or just sitting idly, or you're just watching your phone or doing other stuff, so you are thinking, right? So it could be very active thinking, it could be thinking influenced by what you're seeing and reading or whatever, and that thought is an energy of attention you are giving to something. So when you're watching a crime scene, you're giving your attention to that crime scene. Even if it's fictional. Do you understand that? So you are watching that stuff and you are giving your attention to it, and thought creates destiny. So just think about what you're giving your time and thought to, and then just ask yourself this very beautiful question: do you want this destiny that you're creating for yourself? Because you're creating it, then why are you creating what you don't want for yourself? And Baba tells us that as a Brahmin, every Brahmin has this aim that I want to be Lakshmi Narayan. I want to be the number one deity. And for that, Baba has told us that you have to give your time to understanding and churning knowledge, to remembering Baba, to doing seva. So just think about how much time are we allotting to this aim of becoming a deity. And is there also a balance? Because sometimes, these 4 subjects, Gyan, Yoga, Dharana, Seva. So these 4 subjects also require balance of time. Sometimes we are only listening to classes and not churning anything on it. So, are you listening and churning both? And listening, churning, and then is it balanced with remembrance of Baba? Is it balanced with seva also? Because sometimes there's no seva, there's just listening, churning, or no churning, just listening to classes. So there has to be a balance of the division of time between these various pillars that are important for our for the aim that we are trying to reach at. And also, when we are doing what we are doing according to Srimad, are we giving it our full attention? Because maybe you're sitting and reading the Murli, but then you're not really reading the Murli because nothing is entering your head. And it's all, you just spent 15 minutes, but you didn't register anything because your mind is all over the place. So if you are in that state, then spend 1 hour for that 15 minutes Murli. Go back. Whenever you find that you're distracted, go back, read it again, go back, read it again, but finish it and grasp it. So Baba says that this is very important, and I think you can measure very well, or you get a very clear feel of what you're becoming and what you're not becoming by just checking these two aspects of your life. So, if somebody says, I want to be an IS officer, then they have to give their time and thought to study. If somebody says, I am a Raj Yogi, I am going to be a deity, then are you giving your time and thought to it? Yes, and then Baba says that whatever Baba says that Baba has never asked us to not earn our bread. Yes, Baba has not asked us to, not do Sharir Nirvaha, which means not fend for yourself. Baba has not asked us that. So, in Sannyas Marg, they say that you have to rely on Bhiksha. So, you have to beg for alms and then sustain yourself. But that's not the path of a Raj Yogi. We don't beg for bhiksha. We earn our own bread and butter, yes. So we do whatever it takes to fend for this body. But Baba says, don't do it. So do it happily. So Baba says that while doing everything through the body, and while going about your mundane business or whatever you do in the world, you see, whatever you do in the world, the mundane business, the mundane occupation, job, whatever you do in the world is about earning bread and butter for the body. Is that clear? Or you think that that is associated with self-esteem, and that is associated with respect, and that is associated with self-worth, and that is associated with your sense of who you are. So, or that is associated with how happy you are, or how happy you can be, or how peaceful you can be. So you see that we have confused many things. So Baba says that self-worth, happiness, peace, being in a loveful and loving state, or be feeling powerful, these are aspects of your spiritual practice. These you attain through your spiritual practice. It has got nothing to do with what you do in the world out there. And if you are associating these things with the work you do out there, then you're making an error. And then slowly, gradually you realize that the work you do out there is not actually fulfilling your idea that you will become more worthy, more powerful, happier, or more peaceful. Yes, so some people think that that is how it works, but They think like that until they realize it's not like that. And you see, there was this one brother, and he was the head of a company, and he once came and told me, so Didi, I always lived with this programming that when I become the head of the company, then I'll be happy. So every time I was moving towards that, so it took me 30 years to become that. So every time I was moving towards that, I thought I was moving towards happiness. And it was okay that I was not happy right then, but when I reached there, I would be happy. But yesterday I reached there and there was a big party, and everybody, we were celebrating and everything was happening, and then I checked myself, I was not happy. So there was no, there wasn't that happiness that I thought would be when I became the head of the company. But so now I am lost. Where is that happiness? So I've come here to ask, is there anything else that I need to do to be happy? So, because you see, I was always unhappy, but it was okay because I thought that I cannot be happy until I am the head of the company. And I took that happiness, that unhappiness as normal and natural. But now that I am unhappy while being the head of the company, this is something strange, because this is not what I had expected. So then he took the course, and then he gradually understood that sense of self-worth, happiness, peace, a sense of power. Or you see, people say, I don't have love in my heart because, I have not had good relationships outside. Or, but even if 100 people are nice to you, it doesn't ensure it will make you a loveful person. Yes, and I have seen people who always said that people are not nice to me, so I am not nice to them. But I was very nice to them, and they were still not nice to me. So it's not about somebody being nice to you or somebody being loveful and respectful to you. If you don't cultivate yourself spiritually, you cannot even be loveful and respectful to the most loveful and respectful person, because that love inside you is lost. Then you cannot be loveful to anybody. You cannot even reciprocate somebody's love. So Baba tells us very clearly that knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, power come from Baba. And they come from what you do on Baba's Srimad. And Baba says that you work in the world, and that is just to earn your bread and butter. It could be any work. It could be a desk job, it could be a traveling job, it could be, a caretaking job, it could be anything. Whatever job you're doing is just to fend for your body. And Baba says, while doing that, don't do it for happiness. Do it with happiness. Yes, and today, Baba says something very interesting which resonated a lot. Baba says that even limited study gives you happiness, and unlimited study gives you a lot of happiness. So I remember there was this one friend of mine, she was studying to be a doctor, and she had not finished her medical until I got a job. So I got a job. It was 2 years past my job, and she was still studying. And then one day I asked her, don't you get frustrated? It's such a long study, and you're just studying, and Don't you ever get frustrated? So she told me that I do, it's very difficult to always keep studying, but then you think about the white coat you will get, and then you think about what you're going to become, and then you think about all the good things that you'll do as a doctor, and then I feel okay, it's worth it. So she said that, and she told me that, as medical students, we are really studying many hours a day. She told me I am literally studying 12 hours every day. And I couldn't even imagine at that time studying 12 hours a day. And she told me that I'm studying 12 hours a day every day, just with this one thought that I'm going to become a doctor tomorrow. And this one thing that, I'll be a doctor and then I'll feel like this. And I don't know whether she felt like that later, but but that one thought that, you will feel like this, and that's the work you'll do, that kept her going. And you see, in limited study also, in the study that we do in the world, in school, college, whatever, in that study also, study is always a difficult subject, right? So you have to concentrate, and you have to be disciplined, and you have to work hard and all that stuff. But then what keeps you going? It's always what you get out of that study that keeps you going. So you think about the degree you'll get, or the accolades you'll get, or the prize you'll get, and then you feel happy studying. And Baba says that here in this unlimited study, you are a Raj Yogi and you're going to be a deity. And then the fact that right now you are God's child, and Baba is himself as your teacher, teaching you, sustaining you. If you just think about these aspects, then you will be always happy. And that intoxication of who I am right now, who I'm going to be, that intoxication will make doing everything in the mundane world also very easy. So, even because, when you do something worldly, when you go and try to earn your bread and butter, and you associate it with, so you are not happy, you are not peace, but you're trying to find happiness through it, then it becomes very stressful. Because, every time you're failing at it, then your happiness is moving away from you, and that gives you a lot of stress. But if you are happy and peaceful, because you know who you are, because you realize the worth of your Sangam Yugi life, and you realize who you're going to be, and you do whatever you're doing in the world with that happiness, then I don't think that anything that you do in the world is a big deal. Because I have worked for 18 hours a day, the office and this and whatever other stuff that we were doing, including the seva, and I have not felt even a bit tired, because it was done with happiness. It was not done to find happiness. So, when you do something with happiness, it's nothing in the world is a big job, or whatever you are doing in the world will meet the required success also if you do it with happiness. So this is something very important that Baba tells us. And Baba today points out the difference between bhakti and knowledge, devotion and knowledge. And bhakti and so devotion and knowledge are opposites. So of course there are lots of differences between the two, but the main difference that Baba points out today is bhakti is about fulfilling limited desires. So when you do bhakti, you think that there is a lot to find and achieve in the world. Yes, you think money is very valuable, you think physical health is very valuable, you think relationships are very valuable, and then you're doing bhakti for all of that. Some people are doing a lot of devotion to get married to the right person, and then they are some people are doing a lot of bhakti to become rich. Some people are doing a lot of bhakti to just have good health. And so bhakti is done to fulfill limited desires. And bhakti also assumes that God is a means to fulfilling physical desires. So, your relationship with God, God, stops being good when God doesn't fulfill your limited desires as you expect in bhakti. So, you'll meet many people who stopped going to the temple because something that they didn't expect happened. So, some loved one died, or they suffered a huge loss in the business, or so they went through some health issue. Then they stopped worshipping God because they thought that God was supposed to do this and he didn't do that, so what good is he? So leave God now because he's not doing his job properly. So that's how bhakti works. And our relationship with Baba has also suffered a lot because of this presumption in bhakti that God is a means to fulfilling your limited desires. But knowledge makes us know that knowledge tells us primarily, first thing that knowledge tells us is that in this world there is nothing desirable left. Yes, in this world in this old world there is nothing that is worthy of your desire. Why? Because everything is temporary. There is nothing permanent in this world. You see, you find a person, you feel they are very nice until you don't feel like that. Yes, until you start seeing that they are just human. So, and there's nothing wrong with having flaws, but there's everything wrong with expecting that somebody wouldn't have any flaw. So when you understand knowledge, you understand that in this old world, every soul has mind, intellect, good sanskars, bad sanskars. So you know that in every relationship, there is the use of powers that you will have to make. Power to tolerate, power to adjust, power to let go, power to discern, decide. So, you have power to cooperate. You need powers. You understand that no relationships are perfect, but then every relationship you can live with if you are powerful enough. And you understand that there is no point asking for a perfect relationship. So you understand that there is no point in having worldly desires in this world where everything is temporary. You know that even if you have a lot of money, that money is not going to give you security, it is only going to give you fear. So, there are two things. You have no money, no fear, lot of money, lot of fear. So in any case, both are equally good. So, when you don't have money, you don't have anything to be insecure about, afraid about, and then you have money and then you are insecure and afraid. So you're good both ways. It's not like having money is good or not having money is good. Both the situations are equally good. You have something, you lose out on something else. And I'll tell you something, there was this one brother and he was living alone, and he was very miserable living alone, but he was not happy living alone. He was not unmarried by choice, but he didn't marry and he was very miserable living alone. And then he came to the center and he told me, I can't get married. So I said, I don't know, I don't want to get married. I want to get married, I understand. I can't get married, I don't understand. So please explain what is I can't get married. So he said, I can't get married because both my parents died and they left a lot of property to me. And now whenever somebody approaches me for marriage, then I have this thought, is this person marrying me for my property? And then I can't settle down with anybody because I always have this thought that somebody is marrying me for my money and they'll kill me and then walk away with the money, because there is nobody to contest if they kill me and walk with the money. So this is how this life. And then he said, I had a very good maid help. She used to come every day, and yesterday I drove her out. So I said, she was good, and why did you drive her out? So he said, yesterday she said, I'm not feeling like cooking, so you get bread, we'll both eat. So I thought that, this is going somewhere else and this is crossing the line. So now I think that I can only live alone. So I said, because your parents left you property, so you are in this situation. So he said, yes. So I said, no, it's because, you don't have the right attitude towards money and you're valuing it too much. And, this is why, if you think that money is a big deal, then it takes away everything from you. It takes away your peace, your security, your, calmness, everything it takes away. So Baba says that now you children understand that everything in the world is temporary. Even if you have it until you don't have it, and then you have it. So, everything keeps changing and it's okay. So nothing in this world is bad, but nothing in this world is desirable. So you know that you don't hate anything or anybody. You don't like anything, don't like anybody, it's not like that. But you are not even attracted to anything or anybody, because you know that it's all perishable and changeable, very transient. And Baba says that because of this, you know that you don't have a relationship with Baba so that he fulfills your physical desires. So that is ruled out in knowledge. So Baba is not a source of fulfillment of temporary desires or worldly desires. Second thing, Baba tells us that what you have and what you do is an aspect of who you are. So you, the soul, and the state of being that you are in is actually deciding what you have and what you do, and in the face of what you have and what you do, how you feel about it, or what karma you're creating through it. Yes, so it is your state of being which is primary. And then if you are a knowledgeful, pure, peaceful, powerful, loveful soul, then what you do will be good karma, and what you get will be good. And even if it's not good by worldly standards, you will feel good about it because you are in that state. So, and Baba tells us that when you remember me, you become the best version of yourself. When you follow my Shrimat, you become the best version of yourself. So our relationship with Baba in knowledge is very different from our relationship with Baba in bhakti. Because our relationship with Baba in knowledge is that I do as Baba says, and Baba makes me the best version of myself, and then I am always okay and happy in this old world. And I am also always doing good karma, whether I get something or don't get something. It is immaterial to me, because I am anyways in my happiest, most peaceful, most powerful state. So earlier I was depending on the world to give me that. Now I am already there. So I am doing everything in happiness, peace, power, and the results don't matter. Yes, and when they don't matter, then usually the results are good. Because it is your attachment that makes it very bad, and then you're not crying over small things that go wrong, so you're not making it big in your head. So generally you will have a mix of, victory and defeat and praise and defamation and everything, but you will have more praise than defamation, more victory than defeat, and you will always be able to see that, because even if people in the world have more victory than defeat, what they see is defeat. But now you are able to see it, appreciate it, and you feel good about everything and everyone all the time. So this is the main difference between bhakti and gyan. And then slowly, gradually, your state of contentment starts building up as you go further on this path. And Baba says, you slowly, gradually reach a stage where you're completely content. And you take that sanskar with you and go to Satyug. And in Satyug, you never have any desires. You never want anything, because you take that sanskar of being ever content from here in Sangam Yug to Satyug. Okay? Om Shanti.